Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I recently did a video on one of my favorite family vacation roadside stops, Stuckey's. And while researching the early years of Stuckey's, Nickerson Farms popped up, and I had forgotten entirely about Nickerson Farms, like poof, out of my memory bank. But when I saw one of those oh so familiar red roofed buildings, the memories flooded back. And that's one reason I really like talking about nostalgia. Kind of shakes the cobwebs out of my brain. And it turns out that I.J. Nickerson, the founder of Nickerson Farms, initially owned a Stuckey's franchise store in the late 1950s. And he and W.S. Stuckey, who created Stuckey's, they butted heads. W.S. Stuckey had a very specific idea of what he wanted Stuckey's to be, and he wanted them to be uniform. And Nickerson and Stuckey's main argument was over the Stuckey menu option. Stuckey served food, but it was mainly quick food: burgers, fries, breakfast in the morning, and an in and out sort of food to feed the travelers and get them back on their way. But I.J. Nickerson had other ideas. He wanted to offer a full service restaurant where you could grab a quick bite, or you could sit and have a steak with all the fixins, kick back, relax, sit for a spell. And when he and W.S. Stuckey couldn't agree, I.J. Nickerson set out on his own, and that was the beginning of Nickerson Farms. The buildings were Tudor style with exposed wood and high ceilings. The big red roof was hard to miss, and like Stuckey's, Nickerson's advertised using roadside signs, often beginning 20, 30 miles away. And many of the Nickerson farms sold Skelly gasoline. And Skelly gasoline, I don't recall. I don't recall Skelly gas stations. And I read somewhere that they went defunct in 1977, and I would have been 7 years old. So I imagine that's why I have no memory of them. But if you remember Skelly gas stations, leave me a comment below. And Skelly gas station attendants should have dressed up as skeletons for Halloween. They probably didn't, but they should have. I mean, can you imagine how exciting that would have been as a kid to be in the back seat of one of those big old Plymouths with your dad pulls up into the service station and a skeleton comes out to pump the gas and clean the windshield? That would have been so cool. Each Nickerson Farms had a gift shop, which sold your typical roadside fare, keychains, postcards of jackalopes, peanut brittle, those sorts of things. And one of the unique features of Nickerson Farms was their honeybee display. Many of the locations had live bee colonies that you could watch behind plexiglass. The store featured over 20 varieties of honey, all carrying the Nickerson Farms brand label. Nickerson's Farms had large dining areas, offering full menus. The food was prepared on site, and they became known for their fried chicken, floured with their secret recipe. And unfortunately, despite its initial success, Nickerson Farms faced challenges in the 1970s, such as the rise of fast food chains, which offered quick meals for a low price, and that put a dent into places like Nickerson Farms. Long-distance road travel declined in the 1970s, businesses changed hands multiple times, and by the early 1980s, Nickerson Farms was all but gone. If you have a memory of Nickerson Farms, I'd love to hear it. Leave it in the comments below. And do you remember seeing the beehives? Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you're a fan of this kind of content, please consider subscribing. And thank you so much for watching.